You would think that by game week 17, that's right, 17 Premier League games played, we'd have a good idea of who's fighting for in this league. We'd have an understanding of who's in a relegation battle, who's looking at mid-table finish, who's in that battle and that hunt for top four, and who is in the Premier League title race. Reality is, things have been so weird this season. It's been so tight near the top. There are 5 teams on 30 plus points that I think you can actually sort of sit there and still evaluate now. Yeah, you might be here, yeah, you might be there, but where will you be come March and April? And that's what I want to look ahead to, that's what I want to predict, is having a look at what the table looks like. And you can't discount everything right now. Let's take Villa, for example, very quickly. A point off top, of course they're in the title race. But the question is, do I believe they'll be there come March, April? Do I think Liverpool will be? Do I think Arsenal will hold that spot? That's what we have to look like. Maybe Tottenham will have a resurgence. That's what I'm trying to predict in this video here. So let's do it. Title race or top 4 contenders. Let's have a little look at some of the big sides in the Premier League right now. And I'll start at the very top with Arsenal. And I'll just say it right now, yes, I do believe Arsenal in a title race, not just because they're leading top, but because I think Arsenal have shown a resilience. I think Arsenal have added brilliantly in the summer, the likes of Declan Rice, Kai Havertz coming into his own now, Timber set to return, Partey set to return, and there are rumours that they're going to do some real business in January to try and get this over the line. Of course, they've got the Champions League as well, which will be fueling some of that transfer business that we could see happening. But I do think Arsenal are in the thick of it. Now, for the sake of balance, let me just say, I don't think it's a guarantee that just because you're top, by game week 17, that you're going to run away with it, or that you're basically going to be in that pack till March, April. I've seen Liverpool in the 2020-21 season lead the title race, through most of the autumn going into the winter. And then actually they fell away, and by the end of the season they were happy just to get into the top 4. So I do think, injuries, things can happen that can really derail your season when everything's so tight at the top. A couple bad weeks and you can really fall away. I mean, look at Tottenham, who led the league table up to game week 10, 11 or whatever it is, and now they sit 5th. That can happen, but I do believe Arsenal show a resilience that will keep them up there. They were the last to challenge City last season, so I think they'll use that experience and remain in that title race for the foreseeable, and certainly going into March, April and the crunch months as well. Then we go to Liverpool. Liverpool sits second on 38 points, just a point behind Arsenal. They could be top if they beat Arsenal this weekend. Here's where I stand with Liverpool. Weird side. What I'd say is, a lot of me wants to say, look, good side, but I don't think you're in the title race. And what I mean by that is I want to say that I see too many holes in the chances they concede, perhaps a reliance on the likes of Trent and Mo Salah at times. Some of the they've gone life and death with the likes of Fulham at home, Palace away, they drew with Man United at home. There are little signs that make me think, this will catch up. And even Liverpool fans, Jamie Carragher, have said that they're not sure if they're quite ready. But I do think they're in the title race, and this is why. I really like the recruitment Liverpool did over the summer, the likes of McAllister coming in, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai. My only issue, I don't think they've completed it. Believe it or not, they signed 4 midfielders in the summer, and I still think there's a little bit of work to do. If they sign that right number 6, that £70 million, whoever it might be, where they go get a Doucouré from Palace, a Kone from Mönchengladbach, whatever they do to add that expert specialist number 6 in midfield, and maybe a little bit of depth at the back, suddenly that looks a very complete squad. And when you add the fact that the Europa League isn't particularly taxing, I think they'll be fine. I think they could probably walk that too. Not walk, I don't want to disrespect the competition, but I think they could get to the semi-final fairly comfortably is what I mean. When you add the fact that they've already been to Stamford Bridge, St James's Park, the Etihad, Chelsea, Tottenham, Villa, Chelsea, Tottenham, City, Newcastle, all away they've played. They've got those big away ties chalked off. Add a couple big players. They've got the Emirates in January, so come February that will be out of the way as well. Add some big players, a lot of big away trips will be done, and you welcome all these big sides to Anfield. I don't know. I think there's a chance. Liverpool claw themselves into the title race purely because actually, while I'm not so convinced right now that come April, May, they will be top or looking like they could actually win it, I think they'll be, by the way, in and around it. I think they'll be sort of within 5 points. But I do think they could do the work that really sort of drives them into it come the spring months. So I'm very interested to see what Liverpool do in January. Let's go over to Villa right now. And they sit 3rd, and look, lots to admire. I've got it here, 37 goals scored, only second to Man City with their 40 goals. They're a point off top, and they could well be top come this weekend. If goal difference does them a favour, they play Sheffield United at home. They will probably be top Friday night after they beat Sheffield United, which I believe they will. If Arsenal don't win, that's the only way they basically if Arsenal don't win or Liverpool kind of, maintain that goal difference and win as well, there's a good chance Villa. But anyway, you get my point. Villa could be top come the weekend and come Christmas, and that is an incredible achievement. What Unai Emery has done there is amazing. Now, I know Villa fans aren't happy with me right now, and I'm sorry. I have so much admiration for what Unai Emery's doing. I have so much admiration for what Aston Villa are doing. I genuinely do. My girlfriend's family are Villa fans. I like Villa, I really do. But I just have a feeling that the Conference League might start to become a little bit taxing. And you might say, why is it taxing for Villa and not for Liverpool? Liverpool are very used to being in European competition year in, year out. And I think Unai Emery and Villa will want to take the Conference League seriously, and rightly so. They should go and win that, and I think they will. But I do think that when you couple that with, and don't hate me, the fact that some of their performances, City, brilliant, they blew City away. But I look at some of the other performances, like Arsenal at home, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a biased Arsenal fan. Arsenal could and should have drawn at least or won that game. And then you look at other performances like Tottenham away, where I think they kind of got away with it a little bit. Brentford, they were the better team, they had the most shots or whatever. But again, without that red card, do they win that game? What I'm trying to say is, Villa are very, very good. I just think that across another 4 or 5 months, they might just fall away slightly. But listen, they're looking great for the top 4 and getting in the Champions League. Right now, I think there's a good chance they might do that. But I want to say I rate them massively. Please don't hate me, Villa fans. I rate what Villa are doing brilliantly, but if I'm talking about being right in the thick of a title race come March, April, no, I think they'll fall away if I'm completely honest. So we go to Man City in 4th place. I think they'll get things together. I really do. I think they're going to add a little bit in January. I think the return of De Bruyne will be big. And I think Pep Guardiola, like last season, will just unlock something. He'll tactically get something right, something will just click, and bam, they'll be in the title race again. Look, they're on 34 points, 5 behind Arsenal. But if Arsenal and Liverpool draw on the weekend, that leaves, Arsenal on 40, that leaves Liverpool on 39. Of course, Villa could win, so they could pull ahead. But City, that would give them a game in hand to go on 37. Suddenly they're within 2-3 points of the current leaders. It can really change that quickly. And when you look at some of the points they've dropped, they didn't play well against Palace massively. They certainly weren't good at Villa, but they should have beaten Chelsea when they had the lead so late. They were the better team in the Liverpool game. They should have been 4-0 up at half time against Spurs. I don't think it's going to take much for City to click again. There are concerns around them, don't get me wrong, mainly concentration issues, but I think that can be addressed, and I think they will climb back up the table and are well and truly in the thick of a title race. So that's the top 4 done, the top 4 sides. I've said Arsenal are, Liverpool I think can be and probably will be, Villa I think will fall away and be more concerned about the top 4. City, I think, absolutely are. So then we look at Tottenham. Believe it or not, right? I think Tottenham... Villa fans are going to hate me again. I'm so sorry. I think Tottenham could leapfrog Villa. I think when you look at Tottenham and the games they've played, very good against Newcastle. That result was coming, Beat Forest now, so that's 2 wins on the bounce. But before that, they should have beaten Villa at home. They should have beaten Chelsea at home. They did so well at the Etihad. And I get it, Wolves away, they weren't great, and there's another one in there. But I actually think there's a chance that Tottenham, with the football they're playing, they kind of keep scoring goals and just find themselves climbing back up the table. No, I don't think come the March, April, they'll be in the thick of a title race, but I think they'll get closer to Villa, and I think things could get very interesting there in the race for top 4/top 5, because obviously we don't quite know if 5th is going to get England a Champions League space or not, so we will see. But I think Tottenham will certainly make the rest of the top 4 sweat for that 4th spot. I've got no doubt about it. I think they're playing good enough football for it. Then we go to the final 2 spots, Newcastle and Man United. All I'll say is, they are a way off, Spurs are on 33 points, Newcastle on 29, Man United on 28, you've got West Ham there on 27, Brighton on 26, so you could really talk about sort of 6th to 9th and who might sort of put together a run. I think Brighton will be really, they'll be concerned with Europe. I think with the injuries, I think it'll just be a bit too much for them. West Ham, I think as well, I don't think those two will claw themselves into top 4 race. Man United have to, it's just fundamentally the expectations, they have to claw themselves into that top 4 race. Will they? No. To lose 7 games is really poor already. I don't think they'll ever build enough momentum for anyone to think that they can nick 5th, maybe 4th spot. And then Newcastle sit 6th, maybe. They've had kind of a really weird couple weeks, haven't they? Last month or 2. but I think they are a better team than Man United. I think they'll get players back. I think they'll add in January. They've got the money to. I think they'll just stay clear and largely be competing for a Champions League spot. But I don't know. I could see them putting a run together, Newcastle. Yeah, they'll be in the top 4 race. Man United, I think, will just always feel a little far behind, a bit like the rest of the pack. But the expectation is that Man United absolutely are at least challenging for the top 4 and repeat what they did last season, which was getting into Europe again at the highest and elite level. All right, everyone, those have been my thoughts. Very interesting when you divide the pack and actually you look at it. There's not a lot that separates Arsenal 39 to Tottenham with 33 points in the top 5. It's certainly getting interesting. The Christmas period can decide a lot with so many games coming thick and fast, but it is hard to predict. And look, yeah, I believe Arsenal will still get it done, but there are a lot of clubs there, Liverpool, Aston Villa, they certainly make me sweat for it. And I just want to say a really big thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, actually hit the links right here to watch more content like this, including my Football First podcast, which drops every Monday to Friday at 6 AM. And I know it's annoying, I am really sorry to have to ask, but if you want to show support to the channel, hitting the like and subscribe buttons help promote the content much more than you could possibly know. Thanks again.